Hostage, a Todd Mills mystery, book 3 in the series. Arthur R.D. Zimmerman, publisher, Scribble Pub. Narrator, Eric Aust. Chapter 12. They turned a sharp corner and Matthew slammed Cindy Wilson into the waiting freight elevator. Once the cart and the others were in, he released the stop button. Hit another, and as soon as they started to descend, they ripped off their smoke mask. Matthew then slumped against the wall of the lift. His heart was pounding, to be sure, but his head felt as if it would explode. He closed his eyes, opened them, saw only dancing ribbons of light. He shook his head, tried to focus on something, anything, and saw the pile of linen shifting. Jabbing his gun into the cart, he shouted, "I'd love to kill you right now, Mr. Johnny Clarendon." The lump muttered an undistinguishable string of words and froze. The elevator slowly stopped on the ground floor. The doors eased back. Matthew stepped out first, again saw no one, then seized Cindy Wilson by the wrist and started dragging her along, not wasting a second. Elliot and Tina shoved the cart out, charging after Matthew down the long hall until they reached the service area where a red light was flashing and an obnoxious alarm was honking. Their blue vehicle sat undisturbed, though backed up against the loading dock. Matthew, still clutching Cindy Wilson, looked at Elliot and snapped, "Open the goddamn van!" "Yes, boss man." Elliot hurled open the rear doors of the van, jumped in, and grabbed a piece of plywood, using the wood to bridge the gap between the dock and the vehicle. Elliot then jumped out as planned and practiced. He and Tina rolled the cart into the rear of the van, then climbed in the back, crouched on either side of the laundry cart. Nodding at Cindy Wilson, Elliot asked, "So what are we going to do with the weather girl?" Matthew began. He clenched his eyes shut as a searing blade of pain stabbed his head. For a second, Matthew was sure he was going to pass out. Then he opened his eyes, tried to say something, but no words passed his lips. Shit, he didn't need this, not now, and they didn't need her, not anymore. With great effort, he forced himself to speak, saying, Let's just get rid of her." "Hell, why not?" And he lifted the gun up to Cindy Wilson's head. She yanked back, cried out, "One clean shot," he thought, and, "No, Matthew!" screamed Tina, leaping out of the van. "Shit, we don't need her." "No." Matthew shrugged, pulled back the gun, then punched Cindy in the head with the butt of the gun. Cindy staggered a half step and collapsed on the loading dock. Tina stood there dumbfounded. "I hope you didn't kill her." He looked down at her still body. "Do I care?" From the back of the van, Elliot pleaded, "Guys, we gotta go." Matthew shrugged again, turned, and trotted over to the wall, where he punched in the code for the garage door. As the large door rumpled upward, he darted back to the van, jumped into the driver's seat, and revved up the engine. From the cargo space of the van, Tina tried to keep things under control, saying, "Just stay calm, Matthew. Everything's going to fine." Yeah, he roared out, shooting over the curb and pulling into LaSalle Avenue with a screech just as two fire trucks came bombing around the corner, their sirens and horns blasting. He was on a dead-on collision course with the first, and he twisted the wheel to the right. "Matthew!" screamed Elliot from the back. He swerved around the back of the first truck, kept going, and raced right in front of the second. Veering around a stopped car, he drove straight through the intersection without taking a look. And then everything was remarkably calm, even quiet. With each second, the noise of the sirens grew fainter and more distant. With each second, the traffic returned to normal. With each second, it became more apparent exactly what had happened. "Oh my God!" exclaimed Matthew. "We did it!" Elliot peered out the rear window, saw no one, not a single car tailing them, and screamed, "Yahoo!" Tina took a deep breath, slumped against the side. "Thank God." "Hey," called Matthew from up front, "you better unbury our hostage before he suffocates." Right, muttered Elliot, digging through the linens with both hands. Elliot grabbed Clarendon by one arm and yanked him up, beet red and perspiring, his hands bound behind his back. Clarendon emerged only to slump against the side of the cart. "He needs some air," shouted Tina. "Take off the tape." Elliot grabbed the congressman, holding his chin with his right hand, and said, This may hurt, Johnny boy. With a quick yank, he pulled the tape covering Clarendon's mouth. It came off with a quick ripping noise, and Clarendon flinched and began gulping air. What? What? He gasped, his lips bleeding. What do you assholes want? Be nice, chided Elliot, or I'm going to have to put the tape back on. But what? I have AIDS, called Matthew, steering around a corner and heading for the freeway. Me too, said Tina. Me three, added Elliot. And it's a real drag, man. I mean, I'm going blind by the day, which, for your info, is why I'm not driving, and trust me, we can all be thankful for that. And your position on AIDS, frankly, sucks, barked Matthew from the driver's seat. Not to mention all the nasty things you said about homothethola. List, Elliot. I don't understand, muttered Clarendon. What do you want with me? What are you going to do? Oh, you'll find out soon enough, Mr. Clarendon, said Tina. But I should tell you that we've kidnapped you because of your distinct lack of compassion. Matthew laughed. Shit. If you become the president, we're all dead meat. Every person with AIDS. Tina nodded. If someone like you gets elected and pushes through all your stupid ideas on medical reform and assistance, what's going to happen to people like us? Bobbing around in his bed of linens, Clarendon's eyes opened wide. You people are crazy. No, shouted Matthew, the anger bursting out of him. That's just the point, asshole. We're sick. We're goddamn sick as hell. And we want to teach you a lesson, added Tina, looking him directly in the eyes. That's right, chimed Elliot. A big lesson for Mr. Gay Public Enemy number uno. Don't worry, continued Tina. In a few days, we're going to turn you loose. But first, we're going to tell you about our lives and make a few videos. You see, we're each going to record a little story, said Matthew, actually eager to make his confession public. Right, continued Tina. And then we'll send you back to Washington, where you're going to take it upon yourself to make sure AIDS is treated with compassion and to push through new legislation to fight for the only thing that's going to stop AIDS once and for all, a vaccine. You think I'm going to cooperate with you? Oh, but I'm quite certain you will. Once we're done with you, I'm quite positive you'll talk to all the people in Congress, corner the president, and work as hard as you can. And if you get everybody going, if you get everyone's attention, then I'm sure someone will discover a way to end the AIDS epidemic once and for all. You can forget about us. We're as good as dead, tossed in Elliot with a big moan. But you, believe it or not, are going to be our great hope. That's right. We're going to make a converted out of you yet, shouted Matthew, knowing all it would take was one stick of a needle. God, this is so unbelievably fucking great. A Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold. To offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides. And in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.